Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Stephen Johnson, and this week we're going to go ahead and recap the fights that have happened this past weekend. And of course, the only one here on U.S. TV was, of course,
Rungvisai,
the guy that did Chocolatito in twice, in a very entertaining and exciting fight. And then, of course, across over the pond, we had the BSS, the World Series of Boxing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve, why don't we go ahead? Tell us about, because I know you, for one, have been really on top of the
WBSS.
The WBS.
That World Boxing Super Series. Just for you people that don't remember, it was a tournament that was scheduled to have the best
champions. Yep.
Well, no, it was just two. It was two groups. It was super middleweight and cruiserweights.
Yeah,
that's all this tournament consists of. They had the top, what they consider to be the top 16, in the world that were invited. United States only sent one. Even inquired about one person, that was Robert Brandt from Minnesota. Robert's a little too young for these guys. What's going on? But anyway, long story short, yesterday we had the final of the semifinals where we had Jorgen Bremison, who had to pull out a fight because of an injury. But we finally got Callum Smith, was able to knock off a kid, I can't even remember his name. Was kind of a he was a last minute replacement because of Jorgen Bremer's injury. But now we got the final set, which is going to be George Grove and Caleb Smith, both of them from England, in the finals, okay? One of them's going to walk away with close to $10 million, the other one's going to walk away with $3 or $4 million.
So are we now into that final?
The final's going to be June the 2nd in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Okay, so...
Well, we should make the trip out there and cover that fight.
I would love to.
Yeah.
You hook it up. We're going if you get it hooked up. But folks really missed out. This fight yesterday, because this guy, Nikkei, was the last minute replacement, kickboxing champion.
Yeah.
Come over to boxing. Caleb Smith just gave him a boxing lesson.
Yeah.
It was the first time, one of the few fights of the tournament that was a total mismatch. The guy had a lot of heart. He kept coming forward, but Caleb Smith just jabbed him into oblivion. Okay, but the fight between George Groves, just so you know, remember they thought he dislocated his shoulder, and they said now they're saying that it just kind of slipped out of socket.
Okay,
we'll see how that goes. Groves said he's a fast healer, but those shoulders. I know the shoulders. That's a tough one. But till June 2nd, he's got time to rehab and get it squared away.
So he's got time.
Yeah, he should be all right. But man, the WBSS World Boxing Super Series. What a tremendous event! And once again, I'm going to slam USA premieres, HBO, Showtime, ESPN for not showing any interest in it at all.
You've been hard. You've been hard on them. Not only on them, not only on the broadcast networks, but you've also been hard on
Bob Arum and
on the boxers themselves.
Well, they're promoters, because we've got Gilberto Ramirez, who was one of the world super middleweight titles holders here in the United States. He had no interest in going. Arum had no interest in putting him in.
Yeah, but then again, didn't he call the winner out?
Well, we have had everybody that does that. They say whoever wins the Super Series,
it really makes him. It makes him look stupid.
It really does.
It does. It makes him look stupid. It makes him look a little ignorant. And no, you can't call somebody out after they win a tournament when you had the opportunity to
participate in that tournament. Exactly.
So it's just an ignorant gesture, you might say, but. Ramirez got his hands full here when he gets into the big boys, with the big boys. So
well, he's got his hands full because Gilberto is going to have to take on the young kid we saw fight last week. Who's the kid that you're high on? I can't remember his name right now. My goodness, he's a young kid.
Yeah, Benavides.
Yeah,
David
Benavides. He's got his hands full with him. That won't happen though because Bob Arum won't make that happen.
I like David. David, if you're watching, because we get a lot of viewers worldwide and from you guys down there. You got the right style to go a long way in this game, man. I'm telling you, you just do. Your distance, you keep your distance, and you don't waste a lot of energy. You pinpoint. You got something. You got something, man.
Okay, let's talk about the fights last night where we had my boy Rungvisai.
Rungvisai.
That was on HBO. He got to take care of. I'm calling him the Chocolatito killer. because that's what he did. He effectively got rid of Chocolatito.
He melted the chocolate. He sure did.
There you go.
He sure did.
But he was taking on Juan Francisco
Acosta.
No, Estrada.
Estrada.
Okay, and you got a chance to see that fight?
I saw it in its entirety, and I'm telling you what, I'm glad I did, because usually we'll go out and have our all-you-can-eat crab legs or something like that when there's no big boxing on, and to me, I just didn't have an interest in this, but we stood home, nothing else on. I turned it on and started watching, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did. Steve,
great fight.
This was a fight, man. This was a fight. Now, when it first started, it looked like Rungvisai was just going to go ahead and show his dominance and go on and
he did that for the first how many rounds?
That's what I mean when the fight first started. Okay, boy, but let me tell you, when the Mexican got in gear and he got in his groove, man, this guy's eye coordination and his timing is phenomenal. He started to catch Rungvisai. I have trouble with them names, man. But
yes, you do.
He started to catch him and I'll tell you what, the second half of this fight was a whole different fight, man. And I'll tell you what, to me, now I'm not a judge and I don't like criticizing judges and I don't like all that because everyone likes to see their angles and a lot of times they deserve to be criticized. But to me, Rungvisai didn't win that fight. Okay, it was a good fight. It was a close fight. And now, in saying that, I'm not gonna complain because he got the fight because that's how good of a fight it was. Okay, it was a good fight where it could have went either way, and I would have been happy.
Well, let me say this real quick. One judge had it 114-114.
Yep.
One judge had it 115-113.
Okay.
But Steve Morrow had the fight 117-111 for Rungvisai. And hold on. I didn't get a chance to see the fight because I was at a birthday party for my wife. But the one thing I will say is Max Kellerman is like you. He said, I don't think Rungvisai won the fight.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. To me, he didn't. In my opinion, he didn't win the fight. Okay? I think the Mexican kid came back in the second half of the fight and just started to show pinpoint punches, his movement, his countering. And if you look at both fighters at the end of the fight,
Estrada was going up almost.
They both show some, but Rungvisai
was all bloody.
He was battered.
Yeah.
He was battered. I mean, you can tell he was battered. So what I'm saying is, and then you go back to the judge that had it
170-111. Steve Morrow.
Okay, now this is where the organizations have to take an effect because I talked about it in defense of the judges where they have so many things to look at, from ring generalship to movement to effective punches to hard punches to the jabs to the touch and scoring punches. They got a lot to look at. They really do. So judges are human, so they develop their own style and what they like to see, so it reflects on their scoring. Okay, and that's fine. But when you get something like this, it's okay, but the organization has to take these guys and say, hey, you're looking at too much of one thing that you like, okay? And whether it be defensive measures or whether it be a power punching or whatever the case may be, but you say, okay, we need you to start looking at the whole spectrum because you're a judge. You're not here to enjoy the fight, okay? You can watch it on replay and enjoy the fight. You're here to watch the fight and to score the fight. Like fans, we watch the fight. So naturally, we get mad when our guy doesn't win the fight, okay? So we get upset. That's standard. We expect that from fans.
But not from judges.
We don't expect it from the judges. So you got to pull him outside and say, okay, we got to let you know that you got to open up your spectrum because right now you're focusing on just what you like in the sport, and I think we'll get better judges that way because there was just no way that it was the 1 point difference.
Oh, 115-113.
That's
2 points either way. You like.
Well, I mean, if they give a round to another guy, then it's draw.
Yeah.
See?
And let me just say,
can't complain with that.
Let me just say this, and we've said this numerous times on Inside Boxing's Throwdown, is that all we want things should be fair, okay? And for you Max Kellerman, and I know you have problems with Max Kellerman. So for you and he to be on the same page on this fight, I saved it, and when I go home after the show, I'm gonna watch the fight. So I'll be able to call you my opinion. But I'm thinking right now, I can't wait to see this when I go home.
You want
because it's a good fight. You said it was a great.
You
fight.
want to see
but
it
for this one judge, they have it 9 rounds to 3. Wow.
Well, see, that to me tells me that the judge was enjoying the fight
From a one perspective.
and watching his what he likes in boxing. That's what he was watching.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but you shouldn't be a judge when you sit down at the table if you're going to just sit down and enjoy the fight.
Gotcha.
But guys, if you didn't see the fight, you want to watch the fight. These little guys put on a performance that.
Oh, and don't forget that's super flyweight.
Yeah.
So it is little guys. There's no question.
These little guys, and I'll tell you what, Chocolatito needs to stay retired because he don't want none of these guys.
Estrada been, that was who Estrada really wanted, but I'm sure he's upset. But anyway, that's the end of our first segment. We're going to move into our second segment where we'll talk about next weekend's fights, and we'll start to preview more now as we get closer to Manny Pacquiao and Mike Alvarado.
Yep.
And then we also have May the 5th. We have Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. That fight has been finalized. So we got some good stuff happening.
We got some good stuff. So
all right.
Come back and see us next segment, Steve. And until then,
hey, keep them hands up, baby.